So here's our 966, and it's kind of in pieces right now. But what we're doing is we're doing a complete wiring upgrade. So this wiring harness, I believe it came from Steiner, replaces all the electrical wiring on the tractor. So when we got the tractor, it was pretty rough. In fact, to the point that this is what most of the wiring looked like. So, kind of surprising anything worked. But anyways, as you can tell, it's pretty bad. So, we're rewiring it with this new harness. Like I said, I believe we got it from Steiner. And it comes, there's 3 different harnesses with this kit. So, you have what they call the main harness, which runs up to the dash. So it's this one here, and that runs up to the front, catches the headlights, has your wiring for your alternator, and then also your air filter switch, and then your ether solenoid. So then you have a dash harness, which is this harness here, and that goes to the gauges. It also comes with new light sockets and pigtails for all your dash lights. And the last part of the harness, walk on this side, is the Fender harness. So it goes to the lights. So the main harness stops here, and then there's another harness that will go to each fender and capture your lights. So this replaces everything. So it goes down to the starter, the solenoid, the transmission oil pressure switch. So anything electrical gets replaced as part of this. So we got the tractor, it had a factory cab on it, and we took the cab off, got some fenders for it. And at the same time, if they have factory IH cabs, the operator's platform is different. So we have a different platform, and it's kind of a good thing that we did all this, because we would have to take the platform off anyways to get the harness, and a good time to clean everything up because it's pretty filthy. This tractor was used pretty regularly according to the last owner, so you could tell it definitely needs to be cleaned up. So with that, when you put the fenders on, we got the new fenders, the brackets, and then we also have the extensions that'll catch the platform too. Another thing too, this piece was actually cracked in half on the tractor, so we ended up getting that. New drawbar, I don't know what you call this, the drawbar housing, and then the actual drawbar fits in that, and then the sway blocks, all that's all new. And then we also got kits to rebuild these since they leak pretty bad. So the kits we got, I believe they come from, I think, Bates. But they convert over to the Pioneer ISO style connectors. So, you know, with the IH ones, you have to use adapters, kind of like Deere. They kind of have their own fitting. Well, now this way we won't have to use adapters and everything. So, gonna try to clean it all up and get this thing to the point where hopefully we can chisel plow with it still this fall. We also got new lights coming. So I believe all new LED lights are on the way. Since the cab lights were pretty rough, so we have all the rear lights as well. So one thing with the wiring kit, there is an older or a later style kit, depending on if you have an internally regulated or externally regulated alternator. So in this case, we decided to replace the alternator, so we got the later model kit. So it has the spade connection like that for the alternator, and then with that kit, you also get rid of the voltage regulator. So the regulator sits kind of down in this spot below the steering wheel. So now there is a resistor you have to get that goes on some wires. So we got that coming as well. But just want to show you, if you do have a tractor and the wiring's pretty rough, that they do make pretty good kits to fix all that. And the quality is pretty good. So far everything matches up, you know, line for line. They give you nice instructions here. So They label all the wires, as you can tell, and all the connections are correct for, you know, whatever switch or plug or device they're going to. And then you literally just kind of go down the line, and it's kind of a perfect map. And it also helps too if you have the factory parts manual, parts diagram. Has pretty good electrical schematics. If you got any electrical experience, you can read those and make heads or tails, and that really helps you too if you got any questions, especially like this one, since we're kind of converting it to the newer style charging system. So other than that too, I think while we got it this far apart, we do have a new radiator, new oil cooler for it, thermostat, and a water pump as well, because we did have some overheating issues. And actually what happened was the cap, on the bottom of the cap, let me get this off of here. This might not be the actual factory cap. This part actually busted off, so it wasn't able to pressurize the system. So we did have some kind of overheating problems with it, but after looking at the radiator, it looks like it's had some leaks or potentially some issues, and at some point I think something went through the grill, because the oil cooler and the radiator fins look pretty rough. So we just want to replace it all while we're at it and get this thing cleaned up. So, but hope that helps. If anyone's has a tractor, it's got some rough wiring, and you want to make it plenty usable again. Again, I believe this came from Steiner Tractor Parts. And I know they have them for tons of other tractor models, but the nice thing is this is what they call the restoration quality wiring kit. So it's got the factory loom and everything. So basically it's supposed to look just how it came from the factory. And you can tell it basically matches up perfect with where the old one goes. So the connections are all the same. Everything's exactly the same. So just newer, and this wire actually has insulation unlike the old stuff. So again, hope that helps anyone that has one of these tractors that might be encountering some of those problems.